The issue surrounding U.S. troops in Ukraine is a central point of contention in the ongoing diplomatic efforts to end the conflict. After suggesting a possible role for American forces in a peacekeeping mission, President Trump has now definitively stated that there will be no boots on the ground. This clarification has brought a measure of certainty to a situation filled with ambiguity. The U.S. position now emphasizes that any ground-based peacekeeping effort will be the responsibility of European nations, with the U.S. potentially providing support through air power and other security guarantees. The general state of the issue reflects a broader debate on the extent of American involvement in international conflicts. While Trump's statement offers a clear boundary for his administration's policy, it also places the burden of a ground-based peacekeeping force squarely on European allies. This dynamic highlights the complex balance between military support and direct intervention in a sensitive geopolitical landscape. President Trump's statement that U.S. troops will not be involved in a Ukraine peacekeeping mission is largely driven by a clear preference for a non-interventionist foreign policy. The America First philosophy prioritizes a reduction of American military presence abroad and avoids committing U.S. forces to long-term, potentially costly conflicts. This stance is also influenced by the political desire to fulfill a key campaign promise to avoid endless wars and bring troops home. Additionally, the decision is a strategic move to place the responsibility for a ground-based peacekeeping force squarely on European nations. Trump has long insisted that European allies should take on a greater share of the burden for their own defense. By ruling out U.S. boots on the ground, he is compelling allies like France, Germany, and the UK to step forward and lead any potential reassurance force. This aligns with his broader goal of encouraging a more self-reliant Europe, while the U.S. focuses on a more limited, non-combat role, such as providing air support. The Kremlin has also stated that it rejects any scenarios involving NATO military contingents in Ukraine, a factor that likely influenced the U.S. decision. The most significant consequence of President Trump's decision is that it places the onus for a ground-based peacekeeping force squarely on European allies. This could be seen as a positive development for European unity and self-reliance, forcing nations like France, Germany, and the UK to step up and lead a reassurance force. However, it also creates a potential strain on their resources and political will. Furthermore, this stance changes the dynamics of negotiations with Russia. Without the credible threat of U.S. boots on the ground, Moscow may be less inclined to make concessions. While the U.S. has offered air support and other forms of assistance, it's a different level of commitment. The decision could also be perceived as a weakening of the broader Western alliance, as it highlights a divergence in military strategy and risk tolerance between the United States and its European partners. It's a clear signal that the U.S. is seeking to limit its direct military involvement in the conflict, regardless of the outcome. A solution to the issue of U.S. involvement in a Ukraine peacekeeping mission lies in a multifaceted approach. With President Trump having definitively ruled out U.S. ground troops, the most viable path forward is to empower European nations to lead a reassurance force. This solution would align with the U.S. administration's stance that European allies should bear a greater share of the defense burden. For this to be successful, the U.S. could contribute in other critical ways. These include providing advanced military equipment, sharing intelligence, and offering logistical support. The U.S. could also play a key role in a Sky Shield, an air protection zone over Ukraine, utilizing its superior air and naval capabilities. This strategy would provide security guarantees without a direct ground presence, satisfying both the U.S. and its European allies. Ultimately, a sustainable solution will need to be part of a broader peace deal with Russia. While Moscow has been opposed to any Western troop presence, the formation of a European-led force with U.S. support could still act as a deterrent to future aggression and help stabilize a post-conflict Ukraine.